Update, I'm Cassie.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Christina, and I have been sitting on this. I think it's still in the zeitgeist. I think we're on the tail end of it now, but I need to talk to you guys about the 7-part series on TikTok about Hailey Bieber and Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber.
It's wild.
I've seen this stuff like circling around for a long time. Basically, for as long as Hailey and Justin have been in a relationship, there's been a lot of talk about this. I think because even before they were in a relationship, Hailey had made comments about Selena and Justin. And it had gotten to the point where I was just kind of like, I don't know, guys, like, are we speculating way too much into this? But a 7-part series.
Yeah.
I mean, tell me about it.
The thing that I found shocking is, like you're saying, even before they got together, was the stuff where they're catching her in the background of like all these places that he was. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. She had to be like
fan.
12 or 13. So she was definitely like a Justin stan for a really long time. So here's the thing. I am like 10 years older than the target demographic that like really went through this. I was never Justin Bieber because I'm old. You know what I mean? So I never really paid attention. I like Selena Gomez, but it's not from listening to her music. I'm like only Murders in the Building. And I think she's beautiful, funny, incredibly intelligent, warm, etc. But I didn't know anything about this. I have no idea why it would even show up on my TikTok. So I'm starting to see this girl, Hailey Baldwin, who has a crush on Justin Bieber, and she's showing up at all his things. I'm like, okay, like,
sure,
whatever. We've all done embarrassing things for childhood crushes, whatever.
And her dad.
We don't need to talk about it. Okay,
her dad
I thought Cassie was going to bring up Rupert Grint again. I was like, don't do it.
It wasn't. I was just going to say, like, her dad's also Billy Baldwin, so she has access that, like, most people her age at that time couldn't. So seeing her there before, like, that, in hindsight, is the what the fuck.
Yeah, because but then, it's what any of us would have done, though.
Sure.
Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, if I was 12 and I had access to, this is embarrassing to say now, but
Rupert
like, if I had access to, shut up.
You're the one who brought it up.
No, but for me, like, at that age, I guess, like, or maybe before that, when I was like 10 and like Backstreet Boys Millennium came out.
Sure.
And it was like Nick Carter. You know, and if my dad was like, you could go do meet and greets, do all the meet and greets you want with Nick Carter, I would have been there, and I would have had that like Disney movie fantasy that he's gonna fall in love with me, and then I'm gonna be like, pop star wife. You know what I mean?
That's
like
exactly
100%.
right.
Yeah, and I would have done the same thing.
New Kids on the Block.
Yeah,
for me.
But would you have
unpopular opinion? I was a Jonathan girly, but anyways, we don't have to talk about that.
I actually think that's good.
Yeah.
I think that's a green flag.
Yeah.
Christina.
I was a Joe girl myself.
Oh,
he was younger,
Joey
closer to my age.
He was, no, always had issues. Me, but yeah, I'm so. If I had the money, I would have done it too. So I'm watching this and I'm like, this isn't so bad. I mean, it's embarrassing, like whatever, but then it starts going into like the things that she's doing to Selena, Justin's ex, that is really giving it the cringe factor, because it's like, okay, well, you got him, quote unquote, like what is this and why is it lasting for years? It's giving in her heart, like Hailey's heart, that she knows that she doesn't really have him or something. Yeah. There's some kind of insecurity there, because when I say that they showed like 40 different side-by-sides of the same outfit, same poses, like days apart, where it would be Selena's Instagram and then Hailey's Instagram, same. It's one
wild.
Or two.
Sure.
Whatever. But then getting the same tattoo behind her ear.
Girl.
Like, that's wild. And it's a G which has personal meaning for Selena, and then for her to be like, oh, I got it because of our pastor's daughter. What?
Yeah, it's
The
fucking
same
weird,
tattoo
dude.
in the same place, and then driving past her house when Selena went to rehab or like checked herself in. Hailey Baldwin's like taking her pastor's wife and driving past her place.
It's so fucking
like
bizarre.
a whole bunch. It's really weird.
It is weird. Honestly, too, it's like it's giving stalker for sure, no question. But like you said, it's not one or two little, like she wore a red dress and then she wore a red dress. It's like full out
The
imitations.
same.
Absolute sames. And then the wedding, when they show the wedding video, oh girl, and she's like thrilled, and Justin's just like neutral face, like could be anywhere.
Well, they showed so many clips of him like shutting the door behind him on her and just basically ignoring her, like telling her like don't touch me and stuff like. I'm like, oh girl, honey, it's so sad. And then I guess there's another one. I haven't watched it yet, but apparently she's like kind of done with Selena now and is setting her sights on Sabrina Carpenter.
Oh jeez,
because
Why?
because Justin started following Sabrina Carpenter.
God.
And so
Babe,
now
if you're this insecure in your marriage, like you should probably leave that marriage. Like this is not a good secure. Like
Thank you.
If you really feel like your husband is showing more attention to other women or isn't super interested in you, or that you have to do all of these things to hold his attention. Girl, like Hailey, you're beautiful. Like
she's gorgeous.
Right.
Leave this man, go find somebody who's obsessed with you. Like there's no reason, to be with somebody who's kind of like, could take you or leave you, lukewarm about you. You built up this fantasy of this person. And this is all, we don't know these people. Like you can never know the inside of somebody's relationship. I think Justin Bieber has gone through a lot, and Hailey and Justin have been together for a really long time. So who knows what's going on, behind closed doors in that relationship. But if he really is kind of like indifferent to her, and it's just like you've built up this vision of what this person was going to be like because you fantasize. I mean, look, I did that so much growing up.
Totally.
With both real people and fictionalized men in books. Okay.
I still do it.
Yeah. You romanticize, we romanticize Pedro Pascal. We don't know. We don't know, So
Exactly.
it's like you do that and then you convince yourself that like you finally got the prize, you finally won. And then you try to convince yourself that it's what you want and you try and stay in it for that reason or whatever. But
It's
you
sad.
really don't. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
cringy,
Yeah. And
but
I mean,
it's sad.
Truly, truly, it's sad for everybody, involved. And Selena seems so genuinely happy.
Oh,
like
I
in
know.
every video I see of her with Benny Blanco, she seems so like
They
truly,
are
truly
so
happy.
cute
They're
together.
so cute
Yeah.
together. I love
And
this.
that's what everybody deserves. Everybody deserves to feel that at home with their partner. And so if Hailey doesn't feel that way, and she always feels the need to kind of like feel like these other women are rivals for her husband's attention, GTFO, get out of that relationship and go find somebody who treats you like Benny Blanco treats Selena.
Dude, you hit the nail on the head though. I think a big part of my first marriage, that whole first long relationship, I have empathy for Hailey Bieber because I too wanted to win. I wanted to win.
Yeah.
And I think if you're approaching a relationship like that, you are going to be massively disappointed. Because a man ain't a prize.
Well, and it's and not the truth, but it's constant, right? So you'll never. When do you get to win? Like at what point is the win over? Like it's a constant uphill fight. So every day of your life is always putting in extra work to just when you could
make sure they keep sticking around.
Yeah.
It's not even that they keep loving you. Like if you feel like you have to earn it every day, like it's so exhausting.
Yeah.
Who has the energy for that?
Not me.
Yeah.
There's no need.
And then you're not putting that energy into yourself, your own growth, your own actualization. Like you're putting that energy into some sort of weird competition. It's just not a recipe for success. And we didn't even tell you the craziest part to me, Cass, was the cooking show.
Yes. I'm in my own kitchen. Just like Selena, like
I'm in my own kitchen.
I got my grandma with me. Like it's like,
does she not think that we're gonna make these parallels? That's the other thing about this whole thing, because I felt a lot. I mean, I do feel empathy really for everybody involved, but I have felt a lot of empathy for Hailey Bieber, not least of all because I did feel like people were really scrutinizing their relationship, putting every little detail under a microscope. And it's very difficult to live like that because there were people who were Selena and Justin's, hardcore stans. And so when that relationship didn't work out, it was like they went after Hailey immediately. Yes. And I didn't think that was fair. And that's a tough thing to live under, However, if you know that your relationship is under this kind of scrutiny and having to do with having to do with your husband's ex-girlfriend, you know that everybody's going to be drawing these parallels. And at some point you're like, are you doing it on purpose? Like, or is this some kind of weird subconscious competition thing? Like what, why? Because you know that if you have a cooking show after Selena has a cooking show, you know that the internet is going to go
and you
bananas.
Say the same exact things and you lay it out the same exact way. Even going so far as being like okie dokie or like whatever. It's like so weird. I was like, I don't know. To your point, that people are going to be watching and making those comparisons. I'm like, is this some sort of weird tick or something? Like I have no idea.
I don't know who I am and I need to borrow someone else's personality. You know what I mean? And as somebody who's tried a lot of personalities on, I understand the impulse.
Yep.
Right? Like we're all just like some weird amalgamation of every cool girl we've ever met in our lives. Sure. Like, take a little bit from everybody. But it really does feel that way. It's just like she doesn't really know herself. She molded herself to be who she thought could be a woman who could get Justin Bieber. She's got him now. And now she's like, I don't know who I am, but I need to keep being the kind of person my husband's interested in, Oof. Like that's what it feels like. And that's really a bummer. And again, all of this is pure speculation. Right. We don't know these people, but like allegedly. That's what it looks like from the outside for sure. And I do think that happens a lot in real life. I think there's a lot of like real life lessons that you can take from this entire situation.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Speaking of Selena's though.
Oh, go for it.
Oh, shit.
You heard that Yolanda did not get her parole, which
good for her.
Honestly,
because
lucky for her.
She's safer inside.
She is.
Yeah, I do.
The people who were like, "Oh, really? Up for parole? I'm gonna find your ass in a parking lot."
Oh man, like that love for Selena still burns white hot.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Like people, and I was 7, I think, when Selena died, and it was a huge deal for me. I was obsessed with that movie.
Yeah.
I had the soundtrack.
Yes.
I listened to it all the time. Like it was a big deal. So Yolanda, safer in prison.
Honestly.
Just stay where you are.
I can't believe she's even safe in prison, to be honest with you. I don't know where this bitch could be safe.
I think they keep her separated.
Oh, they would have to.
Wow.
I mean, my God.
Yeah.
It's not like Selena fans are only on the outside.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So,
well, hey, it makes me think from our conversation at the top of the show, and then we were talking about who our childhood crushes are, who we would have had our Billy Baldwin dad take us to all the meet and greets. I mean, I think we gotta FMK. I gotta do Jonathan Knight, man, from NKOTB.
Okay.
Okay. I will be honest. When you said Jonathan, I think I was thinking of Joey, and I was like, Joey's like the cute one, right?
Joey's
like
the youngest.
Jonathan
was cute too. I mean, he's actually had a age glow up because I think he's much cuter now.
Oh, let me look.
Because he and his husband have a show on like HGTV or something about like.
Oh, he's cute.
Yeah, he's
okay.
so cute. I don't know who mine would be. Gosh, I think it would have to be. Mine would be more like an actor.
Yeah,
probably like a Leonardo DiCaprio. Like if I could get.
Oh,
I mean,
young
like
Leo
for me at that age, you know what I'm saying?
Like Titanic Leo. Yeah, 100%. Oh man. Okay. I feel like I had a lot of these. I had a lot. I had a lot of fantasies about when I moved to LA, who I'm gonna, run into Notting Hill style and win over.
In your bookstore?
In my travel bookstore. God, this is so hard. You know what? No, I'm not going to do that because that would make things too easy. I was like, Rupert Grint should get his day in the sun. I feel like we've never fucked, married, killed. But no, that wouldn't be who it would be for me.
Well, you already dated him, so you're like, ugh, over it.
I've been there, done that. Yeah. I'm ready to move on. But I think I would I had a real circa Lord of the Rings and then into Pirates of the Caribbean. I had a real like young Orlando Bloom thing.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, we have photo proof of what
he's working with.
Yeah. What the prize is.
What the prize is. Always winning.
Okay. Always winning. Okay. So, wow. Jonathan Knight, Leo DiCaprio, and Orlando Bloom.
I feel like I should have picked a musician considering, but I'm like, I don't know. I wasn't really into poppy music back then. I guess for me, it would have been more grunge even, or more of that like 80s metal. Like
I mean, mine definitely would have been Nick Carter, but I feel like I just need to leave the Carters alone.
Yeah.
I feel like
I think we all do.
Yeah. So, okay, this Jonathan Knight, Orlando Bloom, and are we talking about like back when they were in their heyday?
Yes.
Okay,
back in their prime. Okay, because we've talked about this before. We're all too old for Leo. His current girlfriend is 26, so progress.
Old lady.
Incredible. But back in their prime, man.
Yeah, I would have been in the age range in the prime.
Titanic, Leo.
Unpopular opinion, and you guys are going to hate me. I have never, ever, ever thought he was attractive.
Really?
I don't think that's an
I hate you for that.
Yeah.
I think it was more of a personality thing, like something about his like character, like the Jack Dawson of it all. I think was a big part of it for me.
Yeah, and the Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
I
had a crush on John Leguizamo in that movie.
Oh my god, totally.
Yes.
Fuck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We need to do character actors as an FMK, just like because John Leguizamo, what a great character actor.
Turturro.
John Turturro, the Tooch, Stanley Tucci. Yeah. This is actually kind of hard because I feel like these are three very different.
I know exactly what I'm going to do.
You go for it.
Well, I'm going to marry Jonathan Knight because, as we've seen, he knows darling, super cute, and my fucking house.
Mm-hmm. It's got the right stuff, baby.
He does have the right stuff. Yes.
Very good.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's like on HGTV now. Yeah. Like he DIY king. So yeah, I love it. I'll have a super cute abode to live in. Lots of tea, lots of laughs. Love it. So, and then I'm going to fuck Orlando Bloom. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Come on.
You gotta try.
Gotta see what it's all about.
Drive. I love test drive.
I love Tesla.
It's all computer.
Everything's computer.
We have to laugh or we'll cry.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And then are you you're friending Leo?
Do you need to?
You don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't
Okay. Yeah.
I didn't grow up with New Kids on the Block at all. So I'm not really familiar with them. I looked up his picture. He was real cute. Like you said, he does seem to have like a steady Eddie life now, working on houses and such. I think we would have beautiful children. But
yeah, no, I get it.
You know what? I think even though this might be a mistake, I think I'm going to marry Orlando Bloom because he's married to Katy Perry, and I feel like he is a little weird.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to know what that's about. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like he's down for some like weird, fun shit.
and let's be honest, I can be weird, right?
Yeah. I think he would let your like freak flag fly in the best way.
Absolutely.
Plus, I think the sex is going to be weird and fun. You know what I mean? Like, like he's going to introduce, it's always going to be different. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's so creative. He's going to introduce games, you know, like I'm looking forward to all of that. I'm going to, you know what, as cute as I think Leonardo DiCaprio in his prime was.
He's not giving good in bed now that you know what you know about him, right?
No.
Yeah.
He fucking wears fucking AirPods.
Yeah. And vapes during.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I cannot. I think Jonathan Knight is actually going to be the better better in bed.
It's really the only option.
Sure.
At this point.
And you know, he can dance.
Yeah.
Which I always feel like is a plus.
Truly.
He's got some moves. So yeah, I'm going to fuck him. And then I'm going to kill Leo. I'm sorry. I really did think he was real cute back in the day. But
I think I'm going to go Christina's route. I'm going to have a beautiful lavender marriage with Jonathan.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm just, it's exactly what. Yes.
Doesn't it sound so fucking peaceful?
Yes.
It does. Yeah,
Sounds
it does.
Gentle.
In a beautiful house.
Gonna work on the garden together.
Yes.
Ugh.
You
guys are convincing me.
Yeah. No, I know, right? And then I as well. I'm gonna fuck Orlando Bloom. I gotta know what that's about. I need to see it in action. We've seen.
Oh, that's true. We've seen it, but that's right. That's right.
And then I'm gonna Leo.
Sorry, Leo.
So, things had to be done.
It's giving, the whole Jonathan Knight thing is giving that White Lotus quote from Parker Posey, which is like, I just don't think at this age I'm meant to live an uncomfortable life.
I hear you, girl.
That is the most relatable thing. Did you see, Christina? I saved it to send to you, but I know you're never on Instagram. I did not realize Mike White was on Survivor.
Yes. Dude, he is...
The clips of him on Survivor are so fucking funny.
Wait, which one?
Just like, Mike White is the guy who created White Lotus.
Oh, yes.
He's the creator of the show. And he was on Survivor. And he's such a, like, he is giving so much cunt on Survivor.
I remember him from Survivor.
He's had people from his season of Survivor on each season of White Lotus.
Oh my God, shut up.
Oh my God.
I did not know that.
Like little Easter eggs. Oh my God.
I love it. Those clips of him on Survivor were so funny. And I was like, of course this guy wrote White Lotus. Of course he did.
Yeah. He's so funny. No, this season, Parker Posey is giving me so much life. It's the best thing ever.
Character actresses as well.
Yeah.
We should do Fuck, Marry, Kill them as well. Yeah.
Yeah. No, because you got I think next season he's got to dip his toes in with Catherine O'Hara.
Oh, please. Oh my God. You know who I would, speaking of character actresses, this would be an out of left field wild card casting for White Lotus. But I actually think it would be fun to see Helena Bonham Carter on a season of White Lotus.
Holy shit. Yes.
Like, wouldn't that be amazing?
Helena
Bonham Carter on vacation.
Just all gothed out. Style icon.
Love it. Yes.
Mwah. Love her.
I actually would love to see Joan Cusack.
Yeah.
Oh, please.
Yeah.
Please. Yes. Oh my God.
The very unhinged. Somebody was saying, okay, so if you're watching White Lotus, this will only make sense if you are. The girls, the 3 female friends, they're like, somebody on TikTok was like, this is such a real portrayal of female friendship. And I'm like, is it? I can't imagine any of my female girlfriends being that shitty and fake and phony. Like that just, I do not feel like this is a real portrayal.
I haven't seen it. But I don't think it's a real portrayal of anyone that we would keep in our lives at this stage of our lives.
Yeah,
like
true.
The 3 of us, you know what I mean?
I will. Okay, you're right to that.
Maybe
point.
like back in the day.
Yes.
Like whenever, you know, like I think back in the day, maybe, because I have not started the 3rd season of White Lotus yet. I had to make it through however many seasons of Law and Order SVU. So sorry. But I've seen people talking about that friendship, and I would not keep fake friends like that around, or not even fake friends, but just like people who are kind of shitty to me. I don't do that these days.
No, it's giving they're friends from like high school,
That's what it's
from
giving.
youth.
Yes.
That have since now they're in their 40s and their lives are very, very different.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So they do have old wounds within the friendship because they knew each other when they were in high school. Some of them are still exhibiting that same like high school behavior. And so it is nuanced, but I think it's a very specific situation. I don't think that it is a portrayal of female group friendships at all. But in that specific instance, when it's like, oh, yeah, we've been friends since high school, but it's not
you're
giving
not really friends anymore.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Like, yes,
Exactly.
that I can absolutely see.
Yes.
That I can absolutely see. I have enough, I think I have enough introspection to just not attempt that with those types of people.
Yeah.
There are people who come to mind for me who there's like a curiosity about like, oh yeah, maybe we should catch up. And then it's like, no, you know what? Let's just leave it. Let's just leave it where it was.
Let's just leave it.
You
Let's
know?
not go to
not.
fucking Thailand.
Exactly. Let's definitely not go to fucking Thailand together.
Man, I can't wait to start this season. I do need to once I get through Severance, which I am back on the Severance train. So
It does give me flashbacks though to when I went to Vegas. And actually it's funny because I was just talking to my really good friend from high school, Jenny, that we went to Vegas with one of our other friends who kind of they became friends like right after high school. Before we kind of all fell into friends, but that was a huge blow up.
I remember.
And has never recovered. And I was thinking about it today, and I actually was just saying to her, I'm like, the further I get away from it, it's been years ago, but the further I get away from it, the more pissed off I am that she ruined our fucking vacation, like for her cunty ass behavior, like beyond cunty.
And if I was in Thailand, you were in Vegas.
Yes.
So it's like, well, you know,
So
you'll go
close to
back
home.
to Vegas. If I went to fucking Thailand, I'd be like, bitch, the minute you start getting an attitude with me, I'm going to go like fuck off by myself.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to have a Mai Tai alone on the beach.
Yeah, truly. Oh my God. No, it makes me think of the, did you guys see on TikTok the Aspen girls trip? Drama?
You sent that to me and I was just like, I don't think I can watch this. I think this is going to stress me out.
Yeah, it really is. Just like a group of loosely acquainted women trying to figure out how to like split, and somebody showing up with no money at all.
How do you do that?
No.
How
Why
do you-
are you here?
How do you do that? Don't do that.
What? No. Like genuinely, it's a specific type of people that you can go on vacation with. And you gotta have people who got their shit together, who are at least a little bit organized. You know, I'm not trying to like, I'm on vacation.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to like mommy anybody.
Yeah, and there's
know?
people that do, you have to go on vacation with people that vacation like you do. Because some people like to plan and be like, we have to be here at 1 to do this thing and here at 2 to do this thing. Some people fucking vacation that way. That ain't me. I wake up and say, what do I feel like falling into today? You know what I mean? Like vacation Christina is the opposite of real life Christina.
As it should be.
Yeah.
You know?
That's your time.
I told
no
you.
plans.
I told you that's exactly how we did Europe when we were here for vacation. It was like, wake up in the morning, like, what do you feel like doing? Let's book this trip with TripAdvisor. It sounds fun. Done and done. Like, I'm not trying to. First of all, I ain't got time, and I know you don't either. Like during half of going on a highly booked vacation is doing the highly booking. And when you're highly booking your regular life, you ain't got time. Nobody's got time for that.
No, the organization that I do when I go on vacation is look up where you're going, look up things that are fun to do near where your hotel is.
Exactly.
And then once you get there, decide what you want to do.
That's it.
And if it's something that requires tickets, buy those ahead of time, and that will be the thing of the day that's planned. And then everything else around it is just kicking it.
Yeah. So
finding fun things to do.
We've decided we can go to Thailand together.
Okay, so the three of us are going to go to Thailand.
Yeah. Yeah. We can definitely do a White Lotus trip for sure.
Somebody call Mike White.
Yeah.
I want him to come too. He seems fun.
Yeah.
He does seem fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring Jeff Probst too.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah.
I want
Jeff
some tea.
Probst. Yeah.
That's what I said. Jeff Probst, right?
Oh, I thought you said Chuck.
Oh, no. No, Jeff.
I was like, no, that's not his name. No. Okay, Jeff.
Well, you guys want to take 5 and then we'll come back with stories?
Sounds good.
Yes, ma'am. And we're back. Sorry.
I inhaled like I was going to sing it, and then I was like, oh, shit, no, it's not mine.
I know. I was like, oh, Cassie's got it. Oh, no. It's my turn. My bad. Sorry, everybody.
Well, I'm going to start us off because I have the Tainted Love here in a bit. So this person says, what is the worst date you have ever been on? 18 years ago, I was living in a home with a few roommates. One of them was gay, the kind you see stereotyped on TV gay, and he was awesome. He had reservations one night at this crazy fancy, super old Italian restaurant that you had to get weeks in advance for this date, who sadly canceled on him last minute. He didn't want to lose out on the reservation, so he asked me to go, and I'm like, hell yeah, I'll go, bro.
Yeah,
we're going to have a great time. Yeah. Like,
I can picture, like, I don't eat meat anymore, but I can picture the meatballs at this place.
Yes.
Like, you know, they have like really good meatballs.
Yes.
Right.
So good.
Yeah. When we went to San Francisco not that long ago, we ate at this freaking crazy, amazing Italian restaurant. And I still am like,
oh yeah. I didn't talk to you about your San Francisco trip. Was it so awesome?
It was amazing. It was really cool. The food there, that's what blew me away.
San Francisco has some good food.
Yeah.
They really do.
Yeah. It's so much better than LA food wise, but very expensive, but also very good. Okay. So anyways, says, we're halfway through our dinner and having a great time. I'm learning a lot about the other team when suddenly this massive dude gets up from his table, comes stomping over, and loudly, rudely tells us he's fucking tired of seeing F slurs like us everywhere he goes, and we should get the fuck out before he makes us.
Oh my God.
I mean, this is an instance whenever I'd like to speak to the manager is appropriate.
Yeah.
Because, like, get that guy kicked out. That guy should get kicked out.
911 dude.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. I couldn't tell if he was a few drinks in or not, but
Doesn't
we
matter.
were, and it doesn't matter. He was a fucking asshole. But I told him we'll lower our volume if we're interrupting his meal, but we're absolutely not leaving. And if we're so offensive, he could just as easily leave.
Yep.
My friend then said, and the guy... And the guy grabbed the carafe of water at our table and dumped it on him.
Shut up.
No.
That's assault.
Yeah. I leapt up, grabbing my rickety old chair, and spun around and broke it over his back.
Shut up. This sounds like a fever dream. Like, it sounds like what you wish you had done in the moment.
This is an episode of White Lotus.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah.
The chair was apparently so old it was made of sawdust because this fucker didn't even flinch.
Oh.
He turned and hit me so hard in the face, I don't remember anything other than waking up in the hospital with my roommate and girlfriend there crying, talking to the cops.
Oh my God. Imagine if you were just
Wow.
like another patron at the restaurant. I didn't tell you guys this. I went out. It was St. Patrick's Day weekend, and it was my neighbor's husband's birthday party. And I'm trying to get to know them because they're new neighbors, you know? Mm-hmm. And so we went to this tap house in Glendale, and I get there it's not even 8:00. It is 7:40 when I arrive, and I get my beer, and already there's like shouting going on. I walk in and people are like, I walk in and my neighbor's husband is like, oh, you guys walking in with a friend and they're like, oh, you guys just missed this fight that just broke out. And now they're trying to get these two groups of people to leave. They're like all decked out in St. Patrick's Day shit. You know, like she's got a headband that has like wobbly 4-leaf clovers on it and shit. And so I'm like, okay, so we go upstairs, but there's still like a view of the downstairs, and they're like alternating between like fighting and kind of making up, like trying to shake hands and shit like that. And so there are like young guys upstairs with us who are maybe in their like early 20s, and they're just yelling shit downstairs. Jesus. So they're like, kiss him. You know what I mean? Like they're no. At this point, they're like contributing. So eventually we're like, okay, I'm like halfway through my drink. It's maybe 8:00, and it's like, we're going to go to, there's another, tap house down the street. Yeah. We're just going to go to that one. So I like leave my drink. I don't know what fucking happened. We are walking because these guys are refusing to leave. Like the manager's trying to get both groups to get out of the place. God. So I'm walking down the stairs. One of the guys upstairs must have said something because this guy's girlfriend ran up the stairs, slapped this kid in the face. He slapped her back. And before I knew what was happening, the girl's boyfriend was running up, pushed me out of the way on the way up the stairs. Holy shit. The cops showed up, and they were like, get out of the way. It was insane. And then I was walking to the next bar, and both the guy and the girlfriend were getting arrested, and she would not shut up. She just kept being like, fuck you. She was telling the cops like to fuck off. God. And the guy is like at the next car, and he's like, shut up. Stop talking.
Jesus.
You're making it worse. It was
never
insane.
Get to see stuff like that.
Dude, and I was like, guys, first of all, they only serve beer here. So it's not even like you're like whiskey. You're not like whiskey drunk. And it's 8 p.m. You are getting arrested at 8 p.m.
I'm sorry, but St. Patrick's Day is amateur fucking hour in this country. I swear to God. It really is.
So is New Year's.
Brings out. Yeah. You really get, it's like you said, it's a place that only serves beer and it's 8:00. Man.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Anyway, that was a huge sidebar, but I didn't tell you guys that absolutely bonkers night. That all happened within like 15 minutes of me getting to the place. I didn't even finish my beer. I had like half of a fucking sour and then just left it on the table.
Like we need to get the fuck out of here, and just in time.
The vibes are off.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah. This guy then says, the worst date I ever went on, but I made a friend for life.
Amazing. Wow.
Yeah. Yikes.
Yeah. Ugh.
Okay. Oh, my turn. Just just reminiscing about the story you just told us.
This really is an episode of just kicking it. Like I feel like the three of us are just kicking it on this episode.
Yeah.
Just relaxing. Okay. So this is titled Scariest Worst. Found out after he referred to himself in third person by a different name that he had lied about his name. Can you imagine? So, as I was telling you, Jeremy.
Jeremy doesn't like tater tots.
Like, what? You know what? Jeremy doesn't care about what you order. You just order what you want. What? Who's Jeremy? You told me your name was Justin. Oh my God.
What would be the purpose of that? Like, why?
I don't know. Like, well, you're married.
Like when women.
I don't,
yeah. Because I'm just like, if a woman gives you a fake name, if I ever gave anyone a fake name at a bar or something, it was because like I was scared.
They met through. Spoiler alert. This is from Tinder, so it's a Tinder story.
No, I saw there were that guy that got so mad at me when I asked him like what he did for work. His was a fake name. I found out later.
Weird.
Oh, dude, that is. See, that's like I'm married.
That totally. Yeah, he doesn't want to give out any personal details. Not his job, not his name.
Yeah,
totally.
But this is also too. He lied about his name after showing me a gun in his car.
No.
His ex-wife tracked his location, drove to where we were meeting, blocked my car in, and screamed at him in the parking lot. Could you imagine?
Why am I in it? Why are you blocking my car in? You can scream at him if you want to, but can I go home?
I don't even know Justin.
Yeah.
Jeremy. Justin.
Whatever his name is.
I don't.
Whatever his name is.
Googled his name afterward and found out he's a disgraced cop who had been fired from the police department over misconduct involving his super toxic
First of all,
ex-wife.
Do you know how bad it has to be fired from the police department for misconduct?
Yeah.
Like,
it's got to be bad.
You can kill people and be put on paid leave.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's got to be pretty bad.
It's got to be pretty bad. But it says it also misconduct involving his ex-wife and was currently suing the police department to get his job back. Woof.
Oh, God.
What a fucking mess. Dude,
Nightmare.
What a mess. You swiped,
Nightmare.
then met this person in IRL. Ugh. Bummer worse, neighing all night. Made fun of my outfit. Accused me of being late when all he ever would say about when we would meet is, quote, 8-ish. Interrupted me mid-pool stroke to tell me I was doing it wrong. Asked me about my ex. Told me that I didn't have to move in with every guy I dated. We were in a relationship for 12 years.
Like, wow.
You're in a relationship with 12 years. I don't think that sounds like you're just jumping into a new roommate situation every Jesus. At the end of the day, he said, quote, "You'll probably never talk to me again. Luckily or unluckily, it takes me some time to process things after they happen. So I'm usually not having a legitimately terrible time on the date. I just realized the next day how terrible it was." That is so fucking real.
That's so funny.
That's so fucking real though.
And it actually, it really is. Because same for me. Like I can be like along for the ride. I should remember that when we're telling these stories and I'm like, leave or, whatever, because I've definitely been in that situation where I'm just like, is this what's happening now? Okay. Like I'm just like along for the ride. And then the next day I'm like, what the fuck?
Totally. I thought about that too. I was like, this is the most realistic sentence in the whole story is just that, like, wait, what? When you're like, have time to be away from it for a few minutes and you're just like, what the fuck did I just witness?
Oh, wow.
Like this guy was a piece of shit.
His ex-wife blocked my car in. That's so scary.
He called himself in third person, but not even by the name I knew him by.
Golly.
That's weird.
Wow.
Yeah.
So weird. Okay. This one starts out, oh God. Worst one was a blind date I was set up on in my teens. I nearly never spoke to my mates again. I had a terrible breakup. I had been seeing a lad from college for 4 months. Side note, I love it when they call them lads.
Yeah.
Isn't that great? For 4 months, which now seems like nothing, but at 16 it was the biggest thing ever. So 4 months. Oh, so my mates decided to set me up. He collected me from my parents' house, bringing a rose for me, a bouquet for my mom, and a bottle of wine for my dad.
Oh, wow.
He classy.
He was all Sir and Mrs. This. My mom was hooked. My dad took me aside in the kitchen and said he's a creep.
Yes!
Dad's like, I see right through this shit.
No.
My mom's like, what a charming young gentleman.
Yeah, my dad would be 100%.
Saw right through that shit.
Absolutely not. He brought me alcohol. That would be his thing.
He took me to a pub. He was just so up his own arse. He wasn't attractive to me at all. He was too try-hard. He then proceeded to ask, did I want to go somewhere else, and took me to my mate's house where my ex was also in attendance.
Ugh.
Horrible.
Yikes.
I said to him I wanted to leave as it was awkward, but nope, he insisted. It was so weird, him trying to cop off with me whilst my ex was sat there. Then I managed to get out into the kitchen, and my ex comes in and says, if you're trying to make me jealous, don't bother. I know him and he's a prick, so good luck with that.
Jesus.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh, horrible.
Ugh.
They're teenagers. I asked the guy to walk me home, and he was very handsy. Apparently, he had bought me a drink, so he expected something in return.
Gross.
The cabbie, God bless him, told him to get out, then dropped me home, refusing money as he said he could tell I was in need of help, and his daughter wasn't much different in age from me.
Oh, that's very sweet.
It's lovely. I rang my maid up and said, what the fuck were you thinking? She was shocked that I thought he was such a tool. He still used to turn up at my house after that. I would come home from college and he would be there. He slept with my mom eventually. So that was an interesting turn up. So at least someone got something out of it.
No.
What?
No. No.
Oh my God.
No.
What?
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Can you fucking imagine?
I am.
I need a part two.
gobsmacked.
I need a part two. She just ended it there. And I'm like, I think I need... What was the fallout from this? Did your parents stay together?
Oh, hopefully they were separated at the time, I'm hoping.
I don't know.
Oh,
goodness.
no. Mom really fell for it.
I guess
Dad should have
so.
pulled her aside and said, he's a creep.
Truly, it's giving Linda Hogan vibes.
100. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. The Hogans are back in the news.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah. I just pray that Brooke, she seems happy and everything like that. I hope she's protecting her peace from that.
Seems like it.
Nonsense.
She's no contact with both her parents.
Ugh.
So
Gross.
Do not blame her.
me neither.
Well, you guys want to take 5 and then we'll come back with the Tainted Love?
Sounds good.
Yes.
And we're back.
Okay. So I found a doozy and I'm unsure if you guys have heard of it, but maybe it has been a Dateline. It's also on this awful true crime program that I ended up watching last night called Obsession Dark Desires.
Oh, yeah. I've watched that with the reenactments.
I think I've accidentally fell into that one too.
I've watched it.
Truly cringe. I was like, I'm never watching this again. But it's also...
Dude, who is doing the casting for... I mean, we've talked about this before with, yours and Eric's It's a Reenactment whole conversation. But who is doing the casting for reenactments? Because they never, in these true crime shows... They never even look like the person. Like, not even kind of.
Not even a little bit. And yeah, I don't know how you get those gigs or what they pay or what it is. But
You're like, how do I get on that roster?
Yeah. I've seen like community theater productions that have been better. Truly.
Small town. Not even LA.
Seriously.
Like small town community theater.
Waiting for Guffman style.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But it is also a Dateline Fatal Attraction. It's a Keith Morrison joint.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you about a beautiful Southern belle, Mary Lynn Witherspoon. She's one of 4 South Carolina sisters. Beauty pageant, straight A's, high school valedictorian, popular French teacher, marries a doctor. I mean, it's
What
beautiful.
more could you ask for? Yeah.
Yeah, just living the dream. But I mean, not everything's rosy. She ends up having a beautiful daughter, but
I mean,
like
it says
the
a
marriage,
Dateline, so
the marriage falls apart. And she gets
I really want to
divorced.
hear Keith Morrison's he always makes like little jokes
Yeah.
throughout, I want to hear what jokes he was making about her being from the South, not everything is magnolias and blah, blah, blah. You know,
you pretty much nailed it. I'm fairly certain that exact sentence is in the top of the show.
Perfect.
So, yeah. But so in 1981, she starts dating this man from a really prominent family. His name's Edmonds Brown III.
Oh, wow.
Edmonds.
Edmonds.
His first name is Edmonds?
His first name's plural.
Okay.
Wow. He's very important.
That is a sign of prestige.
Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The plural first name.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's very prominent, and he is totally head over heels for Mary Lynn. I mean, and loves her daughter too. Now, his wife just up and left, and left him with 2 kids. So he's got a daughter, Molly, and he has a son, Tennant. And so they start dating. I'm sorry.
Cassie and I are just communicating through looks right now.
So she just
Tennant
up and
is
left.
It's a very Southern name.
Yeah.
I feel like Tennant.
Yeah.
Yeah. And his wife just up and left?
Just up and left. That's that's all the info that we have. She up and left. But so they are dating, and Mary Lynn's popular French teacher. She does a lot of work for charity. She's really involved in the church. And Edmonds keeps proposing to her year after year, and she continues to turn him down. And partially it's because the kids aren't getting along. Edmonds dotes on Jane, and that is making Molly jealous because, she's, a young girl. She's 8, and that's her dad, and she doesn't like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then Tennant is off. Mary Lynn's been a teacher for years, and she's
she's like, I'm spotting shit that I don't want to spot.
Yeah, she's like, something not right there. So she keeps turning Edmonds down until finally, 8 years later.
Oh, wow.
7 years later, in 88, they break up. It's just not going to work. The kids don't get along. It's just not a long-term thing. So they end up breaking
7
up.
years is a long time.
That's kind of a long-term thing. Yeah.
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 But it's not marriage material.
Right. I mean, she's such a devoted mom that she's just like, I'm not going to put my daughter in this situation where the kids aren't really getting along. And so it's just something had her heckles up, and she just shut it down. So they break up, and, Mary Lynn's house is around 20 miles away in Charleston. Tennant just starts showing up.
Nope.
At her
20
house.
miles away?
Nope.
Yeah, you
How old
weren't
is this kid
on
now?
the way.
No,
He's 17 now or something, probably?
Yeah, this kid would have been 17 at this point.
Nope.
Yep. So this kid just starts showing up at her house, just right with his bike, walking his bike and walking down her street.
Nope. Come get your devil child. Come get your devil spawn. He here again.
No, seriously, I picked this because, and we talked about it, I just watched that show, Adolescence. And
scary.
I don't
Having kids, God bless. All of you who have children, I mean, you are God's strongest warriors. I cannot
Truly.
imagine.
Truly.
Overrated and expensive.
Dude, did you hear? Chappell Roan is in a bunch of hot water for her interview on Call Her Daddy this week, where she was basically saying, I don't know anybody who's happy being a parent.
Well,
I mean,
and people are coming for her big time. I'm just
parents are very sensitive.
Yeah.
Like that's her opinion and maybe that's her actual experience. That's just my opinion, man. And like, maybe that is her lived experience and like, leave that alone. Like if it doesn't apply, if you're a parent and you're super fucking happy, but I will say this, like I have found that lately I've always been, well, not always, but in the last however many years, I've been very happy being child free and, still feel happy. I could go the rest of my life being child free with my cat as my baby and being really fine with that. But, I think whenever I just turned 35 and I think whenever you start getting a little bit like into your upper 30s, you really want to seriously evaluate, like, is this something that maybe I might want? And when I voice that to people, like the last time I voiced it to a new friend of mine who does have 2 small children, she said, she just kind of nodded and she said, just think really hard about it. Yeah. just make sure you're really sure. Yeah. And that's not to say that she's not happy being a mother and doesn't love her children very much, but I think it's really tough. I think it's really, really difficult, and I do think it's something that you shouldn't go into willy-nilly.
Sure.
Yeah.
So tenants just hanging out, walking by the house.
Teenage boys, scary.
They even move for a brief period to another town. He's still showing up.
No. 911.
A year later in 89, she's visiting her mother's house, which is even farther away. She sees him in the area.
How
and
is
it's
he
like, it's
finding
really
her?
Exactly. How is he finding her?
Yeah, it's the 80s.
So she's like weird. She packs her stuff up. She gets home. She opens up her suitcase. She just shut it really quick, zipped it, got in the car, like went home. She's like shaken kind of by seeing this, like it's just weird. It's weird and unsettling.
Yeah.
Well, she opens up her suitcase and all of her underwear and makeup is gone.
No. No, ma'am.
Has she called Tenant's dad?
She calls her mom, and her mom is like, calls fucking Edmonds and calls and like, you need to bring this stuff back.
Southern
like that
moms.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so her stuff gets returned to her mom's house, but it's still like Mary Lynn feels kind of violated. That's a really weird, like that's her intimate.
She was
stuff.
violated. Yeah.
Yeah. So he had brought it back and he still keeps showing up. But finally in 1991, all of a sudden, he's not coming around anymore. Mary Lynn finally starts to relax. She's, finally like, okay, she's getting way more involved in volunteering to help like sick children. She's taking groups of her class over to France, to do the like immersion thing.
French club. And
she's finally like settling back in and living her life. 10 years go by. 10 years of not seeing him or anything until all of a sudden in 2001, she's like, putzing around the house.
2001?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a long fucking time.
That's a long time, right? 10 years. You're like, wow, that weird kid used to come around to my house. But then you like,
I
live your life
safe. Yeah.
Correct.
I'd be like, oh yeah.
He's moved on.
That was just,
He was going through something.
Yeah, exactly. You completely put it out of your mind by then, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
She looks out her window. He's standing in the backyard staring in her house.
Is there anything scarier?
No.
Is there anything scarier?
911.
I will say, like, living on a first floor for the first time in a long time, that is a fear.
Yeah.
That you're just gonna like see someone outside of your window. Like, it's so scary.
Girl,
that is the
tell me your windows lock
scariest.
real well.
I haven't tested them, but they are new windows, so they should lock well.
and from that point on, he's constantly around. Creepy crawling in her backyard.
No.
Doing all kinds of
No.
stuff. Making eye contact with her.
No.
I'd have a heart attack.
Girl, 911 fucking one.
Exactly. What the
100%.
fuck?
The first time I saw him in my
trespassing.
backyard, I would 911. I really would. That would
Trespassing, if nothing else. Like,
Yeah. And like her sister and her mom are calling Edmonds like, get your fucking weird son like out of here. Like, this is weird. It's
and at this
upsetting
point,
Mary Lynn.
Tennant is like 30, right?
Yeah, he's got to be like 2001. From 88, he was 10 and 88.
So 98, 20. So not quite. 2008, he'd be 30. So
Okay. But yeah, mid-20s. Not cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she is conflicted though. She doesn't want to get the police involved because she basically like helped raise this little boy. They were dating seriously.
Okay.
No.
You know what I
like,
mean?
I know what she's saying, and like she works with kids, and so she probably has like a real soft spot and stuff like that. But at this point, like this is a grown man who has been obsessed with you.
Yeah.
Like obsessed with you to the point that he was stalking you
Stole your
and
fucking...
stealing your
yeah.
underwear.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been 10 years. Like for me, I would be like, look, like you're not doing him any favors either by like not, he obviously needs some kind of help.
Yeah.
So
This goes on for 2 years until April of 2003. She's going to do her laundry and she gets like into the dry. She's like, all of my underwear is missing.
no,
All of it.
No.
And so that's when she finally she gets an alarm system put in. She starts carrying mace. She has a thing on her keys that it has a panic button. She's got stacks of business cards from different police officers, like letting them know, like, please drive around. It's like, this has been happening. So like people are aware, like her neighbors are aware, you know, at this point. This is how frequently it's happening. July 2003 is when she catches him creepy crawling in her backyard with a pillowcase full of her intimates and clothes.
No.
How
Then-
is he not arrested yet?
That's when she calls the cops.
Oh,
Finally.
okay, because she hadn't called them yet. Okay.
This is now the breaking point. She's seen
Okay.
him, caught him in the act. They go and they arrest him.
Okay.
So when he's arrested, he has enough of a criminal record that they set a high bail, and he didn't make bail. He had been doing car thefts, some B&Es, and that kind of thing in the 10 years that he was gone. It's not like he was like, oh, I got a job at JP Morgan Chase. No, he was doing he was doing crimes. And so she's like, whew, relief. At least he's going to be, you know, behind bars for a while. And the police are trying to figure out, like, okay, this person needs mental health help or they need to be in jail. We need to decide. Something has to be done. Something's not right.
Yeah.
Right. Something has to be done, but we're not sure what to do. Meanwhile, Mary Lynn's like, I'm going to make sure I sign up for Vine, which is the victim notification system. So it will let me know when he gets out and when I need to be more vigilant.
Yeah.
Right?
I feel like that's something we should be talking about a lot more.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was a thing.
That exists. Yeah.
Well, November 14th, her sister gets a call that Mary Lynn hasn't shown up for school and didn't hire a substitute or didn't call in a substitute. And they're immediately like, where's Tennant?
Yeah.
Is he still in jail? And they're like, yeah. And they're like, okay, all right. So it's probably nothing's wrong, but this is really strange. They have this weird feeling. They authorize the police to go and break into her house for like a wellness check. And that's where they find Mary Lynn is unalived in the bathtub of her home. She's naked. She has been sexually assaulted. she has been stabbed and she's dead. They're like, it has to be Tennant.
Yeah.
And that's when they look and their records were wrong and he had been released.
Fuck.
Mm-hmm. And in fact, the letter from Vine shows up the next day saying he had been released.
Shut up, dude.
So they're like, all the neighbors are like, oh yeah, no, this guy's been walking around this neighborhood like all day. So the police just stand outside and wait for him. And he like goes up to Mary Lynn's house with her keys to go and unlock. And they're like, hey, you're fucking under arrest. Let's go. He's not talking. He's like, I want a lawyer. Well, on searching him, they find her keys, a new driver's license for him with Mary Lynn's address as his address.
Oh, no.
So he did what he did and then went to the motherfucking DMV.
So he was just going to move into her house.
Oh. Like no one was going to catch that immediately?
No, like this person is unwell. Like clearly, like very unwell.
He is wearing her underwear. In her car, they find a sheet of paper where he's been practicing her signature over and over again.
No.
So he was just gonna like Mrs. Bates this situation. It's gonna be like a Norman Bates situation here.
A FedEx package arrives shortly afterwards at Mary Lynn's house that contains a wig, makeup, clothing that he had purchased with her credit card. And like the family's like, did he think he was going to like fool
live
people?
as her?
Oh
yeah.
my God.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, I didn't see this Dateline.
No.
I would remember this. This is horrifying.
What the fuck?
Is this not the scariest thing you've
so
ever
scary.
heard
Yes.
in your life?
Yes.
So they obviously evaluate him. Here's the thing. They evaluated him before they let him out of prison, and they diagnosed him as bipolar, but also having gender dysphoria. And I just think it's more than that. I think
definitely
he
more than
wanted
that.
to
be her.
Yeah. Not just be a woman, but be
Right.
her specifically.
Yeah.
You know? So I definitely also do not want to it's a fine line, right? When you're talking about this, because I don't want to offend anybody within the trans community, because they have since changed their name to Catherine, very similar to Mary Lynn. But I don't I think it's like an obsession with her
it's
specifically.
A very specific. Yeah. This is not the criminality doesn't belong to the transgender nature of this person.
No.
The criminality belongs to their other issues that they're dealing with and their obsession with a singular person.
Yeah, the tragic part of this is how many times like this could have been stopped too.
Yes.
Because when they went to ask Tennant, like, okay, like we're gonna release you, what's your address? He gave them Mary Lynn's address. And a simple check could have been like, hey, that's the same address as your victim. Or that doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like no one thought to check. He was carrying around a notebook with him in prison and in getting that detailed his plan of basically his murder plot and how he was going to take over her life.
Oh my God.
And become her. And no one ever checked it. Because
I think we can go back even further than that, because it's like, what were the red flags that Mary was seeing when he was a kid that was preventing her from wanting to marry Edmonds? Like, what was she seeing? Like, clearly he was displaying behavior from a very young age that, I mean, I'm not putting blame on anybody. It was the 80s, you know, like early 90s. Like, we definitely weren't as advanced. We didn't know as much as we know now about like child psychology and escalating behavior and stuff like that. But clearly there were signs from the time that he was young that maybe if you could have gotten him appropriate help much, much sooner, like it could have maybe prevented it from getting to this level. And that's what I meant. And it's not like a victim blaming thing at all. She thought she was doing the right thing in the moment. But like, that's why kind of like reporting these crimes, these things that are happening, these escalating behaviors, the stalking, the, you know,
then you're creating
the
a track
stuff like
record.
That. Yeah. And also you're creating a possibility for someone to maybe intervene at an earlier stage before it gets, you know, you're doing him. It's the best thing you could do for, if you care about the person, it's really the best thing that you could do for them to like intervene to get them help.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Exactly. Because, you know, that's the thing is if they have gender dysphoria, like that's perfectly, you know, normal. A lot of people struggle with that. But yeah, it's the 80s in South Carolina. So who knows what, you know,
do we
they
call
internalized
it gender
or
dysphoria anymore? Like, is that even a, I don't
that's
even
what
know.
That's what they kept saying in the program and in the news articles that I was reading about. And that's also something like I don't know and I want to look into more about it. Like I
don't know. I don't know.
I also don't know given the timing that it happened.
Right.
If you know what I mean, like obviously we've come a long way since then and learned a lot since then.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it seems like dysphoria seems like a term that you would, you know, like, oh, this person's like delusional, but I don't think that that's necessarily the case for people who are transgender. They're very clear on what their gender identity is or should be.
Right.
So,
and that's what's confusing to me is that it's not like they were regularly trying to present as they wanted to be her.
That's
specifically.
Right. Yeah. So it's not even gender.
It's not even like gender.
No. It's but here's the thing. Like because I've heard gender dysphoria being used.
Yeah.
Like, so I looked it up. And I think that it is still used. It's a term, gender dysphoria is the distress a person experiences due to a mismatch between their gender identity and their personal sense of their own gender. So people who are trans can still experience gender dysphoria when they are being maybe forced to live as a gender that they don't identify with.
Okay. Thank you for looking that up. Thank you.
Yes, of course.
So the other way that it could have been stopped is the day that it happened, or like the day before the murder happened. They were supposed to go to a mandated like therapy appointment and didn't show up, and nobody alerted anything. Nothing stopped. So the silver lining to this whole story is since that happened, like 4 months later, the governor jumped on it and signed Mary Lynn's law into practice, which totally overhauled Vine, completely overhauled it. They're way more diligent about notifying victims. They're way, way more diligent about actually arresting and prosecuting stalking cases.
Good.
So a lot of things like happened to basically would have helped Mary Lynn if they had been in place, but you know, at least there's a silver lining and she was able to help other people who may be in this situation. But that is the tragic and terrifying obsession tale.
Very scary.
Very terrifying. Wow.
Oh man. I'm surprised I've never heard that one.
Imagine thinking that you're just going to be like, hey, no one's going to know. How would they know? I'm Mary Lynn.
That's how you know. I think that there's a lot more going on. I mean, they said bipolar and gender dysphoria, but I'm just like, I think there's more going on than that. Like, you know, and I don't know. I'm not a psychologist. I can't say what, but that is a level of delusion that is, you know, there's something else happening there.
And like you said, like the fact that Mary Lynn was so concerned about it that she decides not to get married to her long-term partner because she noticed something like, oof. But that's the thing during that time period, during the 80s too. They would just be like, that one's off. Instead of like actually getting a kid, like mental help, so you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a little weird. Yeah, I mean, and thinking that they're going to just grow out of it. But that's the thing with this kind of behavior. We know now that like stuff like that will escalate. Yeah. Like if you just let it be, you know, and let them get away with more and more and like overstepping the line a little more and a little more and a little more, like eventually it's going to escalate.
Yep.
Like, so it's just, you know, just so tragic. It just didn't have to happen. And knowing that she did it in part, or she let it get as far as it did in part because she probably had like a really kind, gentle spirit, you know, and wanted to help him and wanted the best for him. Yep. That's just so sad.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
So what are you guys watching this week?
Oof. That was terrifying. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. Truly.
Wrestling.
Here's a cleanse. Here's a palate cleanser. This isn't something I'm watching, but I am trying to, you know, get into a healthier place, both like mentally and physically for myself. I'm looking forward to April, which I think when this episode comes out, it'll be April. And kind of doing we talked about that last episode, a whole spring reset, trying to work out more and dry April and all of those things. And part of that.
Is this true? I heard this one thing that New Year's used to be celebrated back in the day on April 1st.
We talked about that. Yeah.
And they called them April Fools. And that's where April Fool's Day comes.
I heard that the New Year's used to start on the spring equinox. So either the 20th or the 21st, and that's why the zodiac starts. Like Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, because it's the new year, you know? And so for me, and it feels so much more, like the spring feels like things are happening. Possible.
Yeah.
You know, like anything is possible. The weather's getting better. You want to be outside. And part of that for me is like, I want to mentally get healthier again, get my yoga practice back up again, and start meditating again, and to kind of like tiptoe my foot in the door. I decided to start listening to Tara Brach's podcast again. Tara Brach is a meditation teacher. She also, she looks at, it is very kind of, a lot of Buddhist principles, but she also looks at things from a very scientific standpoint in the way that like your brain develops neural pathways and things like that as well. And I listened to her episode on, she's got a 2-parter on facing fear. And it was really like, I don't know, felt very like impactful for me. And she starts the first episode off talking about kind of like the times that we're living in right now and how to deal with this like overwhelming feeling of like escalating
danger.
Yeah. And how much fear we're feeling in the world at large. But then also, you know, she always does a few practices like throughout the talks that she gives. And you can really apply it either to that or to anything in your own personal life. So I would recommend that if you're needing something to kind of just like bring your nervous system down, listen to a little bit of wisdom, unplug from just like constant news or whatever it is. I would really recommend that.
Interesting.
Nice.
Yeah, very cool. I actually just just finished reading a recommendation from Keegan, Educated. I finally finished that book.
Good.
That was a journey. Holy shit.
It's upsetting.
It's upsetting. Her fucking brother sounds like a serial killer, to be fair.
He's a huge piece of shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the family protecting him throughout the whole thing. Like it's
yikes. It's very
But she's
yikes.
incredible.
Yeah.
That she was able to kind of
PhD,
get herself out of that situation.
Like, amazing. Yeah, it was a really good book. Highly recommend. I'm very late to the game, so a lot of people have probably already read it. So, but
bears repeating.
Yeah. No, I am. I'm missing Severance, obviously, but
and I am watching Severance too. I'm following through for Christina.
Luckily, Apple has another banger on its hands with Seth Rogen's show, The Studio.
I wouldn't watch that.
So fucking funny. It's really funny. It's so funny. It's so intelligent. I know we just FM'd Seth Rogen, and I'm very, very glad I married him. Very glad.
You guys are killing me. I sent something to you guys today because I guess Seth Rogen is a Vanderpump Rules fan. And he's like, he just watched all 11 seasons with his wife. And for her birthday, he took her to Something About Her, the restaurant. And I was just like,
amazing.
Oh, man, I should have married Seth Rogen.
But yeah, it's really intelligent, very clever, very funny. So definitely a high recommend if you need like a good funny show. Because I was actually just thinking, I'm like, is it time for me to rewatch Parks and Rec for the 70th time? Because I need a funny, light palate cleanser show. Yeah. The other one I checked out, which I missed when it came out, I think last year, or maybe even the year before, Jury Duty.
Oh God!
Oh, I need to watch. Everybody talked to me about that show, and I never watched it, but I heard it was amazing.
I watched like the first couple episodes, and I'm like, I can't. It's too cringe.
Secondhand embarrassing. Yeah.
Oh
no.
James Marsden is cracking me up on that because he has to play
so
himself,
funny.
like a version of himself or whatever. But it's so funny. So yeah, I've had to palate cleanser myself as well this week. So couple comedies to throw in there.
Love it.
So yeah, if you
Studio's on the list for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely high recommend. But if you guys have something that we should watch, if you have a terrible date story, if you just want to reach out and say hello, you can go to our one-stop shop of a website. It's myworstdatepodcast.com, and we love you so much.
Cheers.